you have the podcast Chasing Amy Adams. I was listening to it today. Like I was listening to the Vice episode. So she's in a weird place in her career now. She's like an Oscar winner, Oscar nominee, I
She is
believe.
a six-time nominee.
Six-time nominee. Okay. So like so she has cachet. She can like if she like wanted to do with like a at Amazon's, she could perhaps. So like say tomorrow you're her agent. You got assigned to CAA is like, we listen to your podcast, we think you know ball, you should be her agent. Like so like what would you like kind of what would your if you were in charge of her career, what direction would you steer her into?
I would be a terrible agent because I would be like follow your heart, which is like not the right answer, right? Like I mean, I do think that her agents probably want her to win an Oscar much more than she does. I don't think she's trying to win an Oscar. I'm sure that her people would like that because then she gets paid more and they get, paid more. Not, it's not all about money. I'm sure they think she's worthy of awards, but yeah, I don't know. We are in this period in her career on the podcast that is a little bit challenging. It's kind of like just been downhill for a while, and I don't know that it's going. We're not really going to pull up out of that, nosedive until the show is over. But I have faith in her. I think she's obviously extremely talented. There are, not as many great roles for women over 50 in Hollywood. I don't know if anyone's ever mentioned that before. It's a thing that I've noticed. But she could certainly. There's plenty she could do. I don't know that like Sean Levy's Star Wars movie is what I would want her to be doing, but I do want her to be able to put food on the table for her family, and she is she's the top earner in that family.
I've been praying. I've been praying every day for that.
For the Sean Levy,
No, for like
Star Wars
Amy
movie?
Adams put like food on
We
the
all
table.
have been praying for the
Like,
Sean Levy Star Wars movie.
Well, she's I think she's the mom of a Jedi, so this could be it Oscar wise.
Wow.
I think Amy Adams' career could go off in a big way with 3 words: Hillbilly Elegy 2.
You're probably kidding. Who knows? I mean, you could be very sincere about this. There is an interesting story to be told about the way people fell for the shame of Hillbilly Elegy and somehow catapulted like the most like nothing of a person onto the national stage. So she could do like a meta movie about she could play Amy Adams in a movie
Yes.
deconstructing Hillbilly Elegy as a phenomenon.
I'm picturing like
Adam McKay
like
directs that movie. Like that.
Yes,
could be
it's
something.
Adam McKay's new nightmare, but it's Hillbilly Elegy.
I'm thinking like the meta approach to the making of Hillbilly Elegy, written by Aaron Sorkin. Like,
Wow.
we're doing the social reckoning, but with Hillbilly Elegy, Hillbilly Reckoning.
I do think all movies should have a recreation of January 6th in them. So we're definitely on
Written
the
by
right
Aaron
track with
Sorkin,
that.
too.
Yes. I want to see Aaron Sorkin's take on January 6th. What I really want
he
is
wants to do it.
he's doing it. He's doing it in
Yeah.
Social Reckoning. So I look forward to hearing that grandma with the flag. I want to hear her give a walk and talk. Why was she there? Why was she holding that flag? Whatever she was, she was just kind of off to the side. But she has a story to tell, I'm sure.
My pitch would be like Leap Year, like a sequel. Anyways, let's start the episode. Click.
Remember that record that you bought me like 2 years ago? Well, I just remembered that it's sitting in the closet. So I called you up just to tell you I've been meaning to listen to that. I've been meaning to listen to that. Why don't you come over and talk about it? Ooh, ooh, ooh. Why don't you come over and talk about it?
But hi, everybody. Welcome to the show. Welcome to I've Been Mean to Listen to That, the podcast where we go through albums we've been mean to listen to and use it as a conduit to learn about each other and our guests. I'm Andrew Ambrose Lee.
Oh, am I introducing myself?
I'm Dakota Foss. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, we do a bit every time where we don't know who's going to answer next, and then Andrew gives me a voice.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry
yeah.
I ruined the bit. I'm so
No, it's-
sorry.
No, you improved,
You improved
the
the
bit.
bit. Yeah. I'm Harper Thomson.
Bit is a strong word. But yeah, like we got a great guest here. He's a writer on Vulture. He's written for the New York Times. He has a podcast called Chasing Amy Adams, going through the discography of the six-time Oscar nominee Amy Adams. Please welcome Louis Peitzman, everybody. Hey.
Hello. I did ruin your intro. I'm so sorry.
No, it's all good. It's like off to a rocky start, but I appreciate you saying that.
As long as you're acknowledging it's a rocky start, then
Yeah.
we're fine.
So yeah, like we had a back and forth, Lewis. Like when I first initially DM'd you, just like, hey, we have a music podcast. Any pop stars you really who are your main pop girlies? And in your list, you said two things. You said one, Harry Styles was included in that list of options, and then two, that you usually don't talk about music. So I want to start with the
Correct.
second one. Like, what was your hesitation in terms of like talking about music, in terms of like because I feel like they're like the same skills except just transferred over to music.
You would think that, but I have in the past been assigned like album reviews, and I still have nightmares about having to write about music, which sounds like an exaggeration, but is a thing that has actually happened because I feel so out of my depth talking about music, reflecting on music. I know what I like, but I can like rarely tell you why I like it. So I, in prep for this podcast, I was like listening to the album and like jotting down some notes, and then I was like, I sure hope I have like a cogent thought in my like ramblings on in this like Google Doc. I just think music is so, it sounds dumb to say music is so personal because like all art forms are, but there's something that's like for me harder to articulate about music than like TV or film or theater. And I think that people who write about music always pull references that are like very, very deep of like what something sounds like or who inspired it. And I am always completely lost when I mean, I know what they're talking about, but I could never have made that connection.
Yeah, so far so good on the cogent thoughts, but like, yeah, like,
A cogent thought
um,
about the lack of cogent thoughts. Yeah.
no, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Like, I think, first of all, just I want to say to you, like, this is a very welcoming environment. We're just here to like figure things out together and stuff, and it's supposed to be fun. So yeah, like, going back to Harry Styles, you said he's one of your pop girlies. I think I asked the question specifically, who are your pop girlies in like a more of a general sense, but like you said Harry Styles was up there. So what is it about Harry Styles that captivates you?
Well,
Other than his
obviously,
fashion.
fashion is up there. The acting work, of course, is really important. I think we're all still recovering from Don't Worry, Darling, a movie that I have seen and still digesting. No, I think that I mentioned him because I mean he had new music out or coming out at that point, and also I just feel like as a gay guy, I could list like divas, which is great, but I feel like when I listen to a man's music, it's always like a fun little novelty, and so he sort of stands out as like one of the few men that I listen to. One of the few like ostensibly straight men that I listen to, although I guess he's got a whole fluid thing going on. Yeah, I don't know. I really like Harry Styles. I think also I like this era for him insofar as it is an era where like he's always been kind of like he's a little dancier now, like I guess. And I think like I'm really tired of sad boys, and he seems like less of a sad boy. I don't want to like fire shots at any because I can't really think of any beyond that guy Somber, whose name is Somber. That just seems like much more of the mode for male pop singers right now is like more downbeat, and I'm downbeat enough in my life. I don't need more of that from men.
It definitely does seem like there's less room for whimsy in the world of like popular men's music, like I don't know why he sprung to mind because he's not like a pop guy, but like G-Eazy, G-Eazy is like the most serious man in the world, and it's like, relax, guy. Like your music is not good enough to be doing frankly anything. But he just takes himself so seriously, like that he has to be this suave, Casanova or whatever.
I don't know if I've ever heard a Benson Boone song, but I know that he does flips. But I think his music is not as like flip heavy as his like onstage persona, is my understanding.
Yeah, he has some fun ones. He's got the,
Yeah.
the moonbeam ice cream or whatever, and then, but then
That
he also on the other side he does have some emotional bangers.
I would say like beautiful things like that's kind of a banger, dare I say. And like Moonbeam Ice Cream is definitely a vocal stim for my girlfriend and I in our house. That gets a lot of mileage.
Funny enough about like Benson Boone is like they actually did the take. They used the take without him doing the backflips in the song. They're like, "Moonbeam ice cream." You like do a flip, you do a flip in the middle of the song. But yeah, yeah. So men, shout out to men. Like
Don't get enough credit in general. I mean, I'm always saying that men need more credit.
I mean, like it's a pretty like dire male in the male pop sphere. It's pretty dire right now. There's like you said, there's Somber, there's Benson Boone. Benson Boone in terms of like great Walgreens music, I think. Like, and then there's
Alex Warren.
Alex
I feel,
Ordinary.
I mean,
that's
yeah.
awesome.
I mean, like the bit, I think it's dire. I agree with you, but also like these are like hit. Like Alex Warren had like what the biggest song for however many weeks on Billboard, and Morgan Wallen is always churning out somehow astounding hits. I don't think I've heard a Morgan Wallen song, but I know he's very popular.
It goes to your point though, like that Harry Styles, like he has a little more fun with it. I don't know that many Morgan Wallen songs, but every Morgan Wallen song is like trying to sell you that, it's like he's just this down on his luck, small town guy, trying to navigate how much the world just doesn't make sense to him anymore, and it's like, relax, dude. You have a bar and grill in Nashville,
It's
gonna
very
be
hard to
okay.
be called racist because of the slurs that you used.
Yeah.
Hard thing to navigate.
Yeah, Haley Williams should have ended him.
Yeah, like we're waiting. So like in the like male sphere, the only ones like I could think of are like Bad Bunny's like doing like the happy music, who's like actually doing something really interesting like culturally and stuff. But I think like by default, like perhaps Harry Styles is the premier male pop star. Like maybe Bruno Mars is there, and like, but like I think it's pretty dire.
Hey guys, if you're enjoying the episode, please consider subscribing to our I've Been Meaning to Listen to That Patreon, where for $2.99 a month, you get access to our I've Been Meaning to Watch That bonus podcast feed, where we cover movie musicals, we cover concert films, we cover musician biopics, and it's just a great time with our co-host Stephanie Senior, and it's all just for $2.99 a month. So please consider subscribing, supporting the show. We really love doing the show, so it'd be greatly appreciated. Okay, love you. Bye.
But what about you, Dakota and Harper? What's your relationship to Harry Styles himself?
I wasn't too into One Direction when they were around. Not like for any reason, but purely like not in like a boy bands are so stupid kind of thing. Just in like I was in college, like sort of thing, and I was exploring other musical realms. And I kind of missed the boat on Sign of the Times, his debut. That did seem to kind of establish him as like this adult pop star. He's no longer a little boy. He's a little man. And his second one was Fine Line, right? Was that his second album?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got on board with Fine Line like around the time that COVID kind of hit. And I really liked the song Adore You. I think that's a bop. And I liked Harry's House as well. Like that came out and it was like doing some fun things. Like I can't say that I have like a particular affinity for him or not. Like to your point, Andrew, like he probably is, without any caveats, like maybe the number one pop star thing, like Bad Bunny does like, he's more like reggaeton like kind of stuff. The Weeknd kind of is doing like R&B, like some hip hop adjacent stuff too. But Harry's just kind of like pop. So that's my relationship with him. We're gonna be digging deep this episode for cogent thoughts, I think. I don't know if anybody else is feeling the same way.
Yeah. Yeah, I also wasn't really a directioner, even though that doesn't really seem like me. It seems like that would be exactly my brand. I was on Tumblr, so there it's impossible not to get like there was so much like Larry Stylinson content coming my way. But
Do you watch Ashley Norden on YouTube?
I do not.
Anybody? Oh, she has a great video on that. Shout out Ashley Norden.
But yeah, and then when they started doing solo stuff, I will say I was kind of a Zayn girly. Like that was my
Mm.
preferred solo career at the beginning because like I liked his like R&B kind of direction he was taking things. It felt very like Usher inspired. I just liked what he was doing. And like the first Harry Styles like solo album had some bangers for sure, like Sign of the Times and Sweet Creature, I think is a really good song. But like as a whole album, it was just kind of okay. But yeah, then Fine Line, I was really into that one. I listened to it a lot. Like we listened to it so much here. Like we use the vinyl basically to make sure that the record player is like running at the right speed because we can tell right away if it's like too fast or too slow. Yeah, and then, Harry's House is great. I've listened to that album 1,000 times too. And then I went to the concert, which was amazing. Like such a great show. He's just really good live. Yeah, I don't know. So then I was really excited for this one, and that's kind of my whole Harry journey.
Wow.
Can I have a comment on Larry before we
Yeah,
move on from that, which is just that like
please.
I once made the mistake, but I didn't understand like the power of that fandom of tweeting something about how like I knew Larry was real, which seemed like so innocent because I was like, well, obviously I'm kidding. And then I like think that I had days and days of replies and people assuming that I had secret information that I was hiding.
Oh
Uh,
man. Yeah.
so I now don't talk about that publicly yet. I mean, I'm talking about it right now, but I would never make a joke about knowing that Larry is real.
Wait, like fill me in on this. I don't know this part of the lore at all. Like who's Larry? Like what's this?
Larry is the ship name
Yeah.
for Harry Styles
Oh.
and Louis Tomlinson.
Oh. Like, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
There's a very like persistent theory that they were in a full-blown relationship in One Direction and beyond, right? Like I don't how
Yeah.
are they still they're not still together, right?
No, they're
But they
not
really
still together,
yeah, but they
but
were together for a long time.
yeah.
And people I know who are like very smart, not conspiratorial people have told me that there's actually a lot of really good evidence I should look at. So,
Wow.
It's the same thing as like the Gaylors, you
Gaylor,
know?
yeah.
well, there's also a lot of compelling evidence there. So we
I
really can't
agree.
we really can't rule anything out. I mean,
No, we're
yeah.
we're all like Lady Gaga, I looked for evidence. Uh,
like a detective. Yeah, you got to.
Yeah, I
mhm.
mean, I just think there's so much footage of like them from that time that again, like I was not even a directioner. I was not in this fandom, but I've personally seen so much of it where it's like, from when they were on X Factor together, and because they like built the band at that time. So it's very similar to like, I don't know how much you've seen. I had a friend who's very into K-pop, and so they have all those survival shows where they're building those bands, and kind of like the Cat's Eye show too, where it's like very intense. It's a very intense situation where they're being thrown together a lot, and so then they like rely on each other emotionally a lot, and then there happens to be lots of footage of them holding hands and like cuddling and stuff. That's
Wow.
I think like the birth of Larry, and then from there it was like kind of fed into more and more.
It's also
But
like easy enough to believe that someone would have taken them aside and been like, by the way, like don't be gay in
yeah,
like publicly. I mean, I would believe that would have happened
Mm.
at the time.
totally.
But
Totally. Yeah. Yeah. That
Yeah.
picture of Harry Styles, like, that is my sleep paralysis, Steven. What was that's probably the most compelling evidence of like not to speculate on his sexuality, but that's like the most compelling evidence that he's straight, right? Like
or his stylist is a merry prankster, you just never know.
yeah, his stylist is the same one who did the like little lads who like berries and cream Dr. Pepper commercial.
Exactly.
You forget, but pants were like that at that time. It's crazy. Fashion was crazy back then.
Wasn't that pic from like 2019?
That was a long time ago.
This one here?
What pants
Yes.
were like that?
No, that had to be earlier than that, right?
No, like that shot
Really?
is from like 2019
That's so
because
funny.
he started doing like he started doing the thing where he would occasionally wear like a dress or skirts and everyone was like, look at how brave he is. And then he did that and everyone was like, whoa. Like
I think
this
we're
is-
definitely we're on different parts of the internet because I feel like all I ever saw was it's really offensive that he's always gay baiting with his outfits and
No,
he
I've
you know,
definitely
that-
seen that too, for sure. There's certainly a lot of speculation in Harry, pun intended, I guess, like areas of, speculating on, how much of it is baiting, how much of it is genuine expression. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, what's your perspective, Lewis? Like, like, what do you like?
on gay baiting.
Yeah, because like his like because I just never feign like commented because like I just like felt like I was not in a place to like weigh in on this. So like, what's your perspective about that?
Well, gay baiting as a term is actually something that was meant to be applied to fiction, and it's specifically about like, writers, TV a lot, like teasing something gay to appeal to gay viewers and then not following through on that. So like baiting us with the idea that two characters would get together when they never really were going to. And it's like very much a thing, and it's still a thing. The idea of a person gay baiting has never really made any sense. Especially because like we should encourage people, especially cis men, to be more open and exploratory. And so the idea that like Harry Styles being flirty with men or wearing more androgynous clothing is somehow like a negative doesn't quite track. And I don't know that it like massively helps his album sales. Like I think it's all maybe part of the package, but I think that when you see things like people calling him brave, though, there is a backlash because it's like, why is that? Why is it brave for a ostensibly straight guy to do that and not for a gay guy to do that? But like, that's not really Harry's fault.
Yeah, so like I guess let's move on to this era though. Harry Styles, kiss all the time, period. Disco, occasionally, period. So like what's like weird title. Like I think it does make sense, like do good on the promise of like occasionally discoing. Like I feel like that's actually like not false advertising. That it's just like it's like disco occasionally. I think that's people on pop heads were very
is he
upset.
just using like is he using the word disco as a stand-in for like dance? Because I would push back. I don't hear like any disco on this. Like how many songs make you want to strap on a pair of roller skates?
Uh, I'd go. The song "Coming Up Roses." That kind of does, and like in a
Like you're going out on a date to roller skate.
yeah.
I mean, I feel like maybe is like Dance No More,
I was
maybe
thinking
like
that
the
one.
most disco-y, disco adjacent at least.
It feels very like ballroom inspired.
Yeah, that's yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So like this album, like where were you guys in terms of like the rollout for this album? Were you guys like excited about it? Were you guys just kind of like I was just for me, I was just like I like some Harry songs. I like Watermelon Sugar. Oh, I like that song. I like Maybe We Could Find a Place to Feel Good. I like that song. Like so I like some songs and like I like the trailer for Don't Worry Darling. But that's really all I knew. That's really like
Wait, did you not see his star turn in the MCU?
oh it's like in Eternals.
In like the post credits scene.
Yes, one of the more embarrassing things to happen in a Marvel movie, which is really saying something.
Oh man, he's hope they bring him back. But like, yeah, like that's really all I know. Like that's really like so like this just like kind of came and went for me like last month when it was just coming out. Like I didn't even like I'm sure like Aperture played when I was like walking around the mall or something. But like that's really it. Like that's really it for me. Where were you guys in terms of like the rollout for this?
I was pretty hyped. I had actually been listening to, I think Harry might have been my top artist in like December. because I was listening to Harry's House on repeat for a while there. It was really soundtracking my heated rivalry reading experience. So I was listening to that album a lot, which got me pretty excited for this upcoming album. And then Aperture came out, and I really appreciate that Aperture was a single because it took me a long time to come around on that song. Like it was a grower, and I just because it came out so far ahead of the album, it gave me time to get used to the sound, which I think prepared me for what the album was going to be.
I was also listening to Harry's House on repeat a lot, so I was excited for something to change there and to give myself a break from that. So I was really excited for it. I liked Aperture a lot from the start, but it definitely grew on me more and more. I loved that it was over 5 minutes long, which was exciting because songs are usually very short these days. And yeah, I mean, I do feel like the song does prep you for what's to come. I think like I know that Harry is not like one of our like great vocalists or anything, but I think his vocals do kind of take a back seat in a lot of these songs, and Aperture kind of gets you used to that idea where like you're gonna hear him, but it's not gonna be the focal point. So it was like a good entryway, and then I was, the album dropped, I was happy about it, and I think it gets better and better as you listen to it, and also I think the album gets better after the first few songs.
Aperture was the only song that was released before the album, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I actually quite liked Harry's House. I think like, obviously as it was insanely overplayed, but at the core of it, like that, it's a good song. Like my lasting feelings of Harry's House was like overall like very positive. I think that that's like a pretty fun and spirited album. Um, Strangely enough, I really wasn't looking forward to this album all that much outside of the fact that like men have been so quiet on the pop front.
You had me with the first half of that sentence. I was like into it. Like men have been so quiet. Like
yeah, have they? Have we? Like I don't know, man. Like I think that I was putting sort of like the state of male pop on the shoulders of this album simply because last year the rise of Alex Warren, like like
somehow Alex Warren returned.
we're just so lost as a country, man.
It's really unfortunate for his like biggest song to be called Ordinary. I feel like it's really just like the jokes write themselves.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that that's actually a perfect name for it, truly.
Sure.
And a big tell on all involved in making that song a smashing success. But like I was kind of curious of just like, what's going on in Harry's head? Maybe it's a little unfair to be like, what's the deal with men? As a man, but I like there's been like a nice little renaissance, like at least in 2024 with pop, like coming out strong. Ariana Grande, Charlie, Taylor's been having some moments. We've had Beyonce, like all this stuff, like not to say like, hey, let's hear it from the men, but also like, men, let's pull our weight a little bit. So I was interested in like that because Harry's such like a cultural force with him. But I didn't actually listen to Aperture beforehand because I was just kind of like, I don't want like the single status of it to color my expectations for that. I got like a little bit of the discourse, like with it being kind of like, oh, this sounds like LCD Sound System. Like, what's he doing? This isn't occasionally discoing. Like, so I had that in the back of my head when I was listening to it. But like, when the album came out, I finally got into it, and we'll give our thoughts on what we think of the thing proper.
And like to answer the question of like what's been in Harry Styles' head these like 3 years, it's basically like, I took a break and then I decided I loved music and I decided to make more music, and like that's basically it. Like I think like it's this is an interesting album in terms of like how like I think he's like probably our healthiest pop star in terms of just like mentally, like in terms of like when he won the Grammy for Best Album of the Year, he in the Zane Lowe interview, he said something along the lines of like he wrote a letter to himself from the day before saying like everything everyone's gonna say is not true. Like any like praise, any like hatred that goes his way is like not true. And like it's just kind of like I think in 2022, 2023, he was like it was like the album came out, Harry's House came out, and then like the Grammys, and then like My Policeman, and then Don't Worry Darling, and then
Oh
the
my God, My
Before.
Policeman, a name I never thought I'd hear again.
I forgot all about that.
But like he was everywhere. He was busy. He was like doing a lot of work, and so he just like intentionally like took a break and like it's really not that interesting. Like every interview he said, every interview of this era is just him basically reiterating that point and like his.
Well, don't forget that he talked to her. It was Murakami. He talked to you about marathon running, right? Like he also has that thing going on. So that's the most interesting thing right now. He's into marathon running.
Yeah, it's like it's not like it's not that interesting in terms in like but I think like that's kind of counter to like kind of just like pop stars like doing this whole rollout and this big circus and this big attention grabbing thing all the time and these stunts and whatever. I think it's like a just like this is the music and I'm gonna play it at Manchester. Everyone's gonna love it, and then we're gonna move. We're gonna like do this for a while. So
I mean, I think that like there's like definitely some like self-awareness in the album and some sort of reflection on everything, but a lot of it is like sort of countering the image people have of him without really, I think, establishing what the image should be. It's more just like people have this image of you, and it's like that's not what it is. But then we don't really get into like who he actually is. I don't think this album is as like I don't know if I would call like Harry's House lyrically complex, but I think more so than this one. And I do like. I mean, I guess I don't want to spoil overall thoughts. I guess I was hoping we'd have some sort of reflection on the Don't Worry Darling fiasco, because I do feel like that was such a moment. Like that was, I mean, you have Chris Pine in your background, so like, that was a big thing. Like there was like a whole imagined slash maybe real feud happening. And I think that that's like if he's like reflecting on his public persona and like the press he got, I feel like that's like a big part of the story.
yeah, except it doesn't do any of that. Like basically,
Right.
yeah, like
Another thing that he's kind of gotten at in his interviews that makes me like a little frustrated with just kind of like the concept of what he's getting at with this album. But like in the interviews, he talks sometimes about what like where is his place in the culture and society right now, like as a pop star, and taking up space in the context of all this like political upheaval and all the horrible things that are going on. And he kind of talks about like some level of, I don't know if guilt is like so far, but just like wrestling with that, like, because you're right, Andrew, like he does by all accounts seem like a pretty well-adjusted guy for everything that's happened. And he does have like that self-awareness of that, like people talk all the time about, Taylor Swift's private jet and everything and all this and like, stuff like that, I think goes through Harry's head. And he kind of like answers that with this, like his answer on this album is frustratingly like, this album is trying to take up as little space as possible, despite him being like an A-list pop star. And I think that that's commendable on some sort of level because, like on a human level, it's like, okay, yeah, this guy seems like he's a bloke I'd get a pint with or something like that. But there's also a degree, I think, of like, man, you're an A-list pop star. I want you to own this. Like, I appreciate what you're trying to do, but like, and again, this is maybe unfair to level at Harry because I'm going to be talking about men broadly here. Like, it's cool that Bieber did the Biebercella thing, where he's on a laptop and it's minimalist or something. And it's nice that Harry's a little self-aware here. But I am so tired of male pop stars not fucking doing anything. Like not going balls out, not having the production value, not having the showmanship. Like they're just getting completely stood up by women here. you know, men, let's try. Let's, you know,
I mean,
do
don't you
something.
feel like at least in his live performances though, he has a little of the showmanship, if not in the
I think
album
so.
itself.
I would say so. Like,
I do. I do appreciate that. You know, like live, like for sure. I can't fault him on that, you know, as a whole, but like I have a lot of conflicting feelings with this record because, you know, if we'll get into it like you know, as we're giving our thoughts, but like there's a lot that I do actually like here, but it just feels like overall so much more sheepish than I would want it to feel, you know? And I guess like I'm just begging like the universe, give me one man. Like we're begging for a male pop star who, you know, will maybe it's Benson Boone. I don't know, man. Maybe it's Charlie Puth. What's he up to? He put out a record.
Yeah, he has a new album.
well, again, like I think it's because in pop music, because he's a white man, he doesn't have like the responsibility or the burden of like not just like being a great and like a up there entertainer, but also like shouldering like a culture in at the same time. Like it's basically like all he needs to represent in this album is himself and his fans. And then this like it's just like this back and forth relationship like the like K-pop Demon Hunters of just like, you know, like I give you money, you give me the happiest night of my life, and that'll fuel the honeymoon, basically. That's really it. Like that's really all he has to do. I think like there's maybe like to speak to self-awareness, like a little bit of self-awareness of like winning over Beyonce for the album of the year. So I think there's a little bit of like, let me just like pull back a little bit. Let me just like kind of
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if there is like an element of like of guilt here, of like kind of working through that weird feeling, I think that's the moment that I think a lot of people had already turned on him for various reasons, but I do think that was a big moment in like hating Harry Styles and feeling like he had really like somehow tricked the recording academy. The Grammy should have been hers, and it went to him for something that was like less impressive in most ways. Even though I think it's also a really good album, I don't know if I feel like he's addressing it that much in here, but I do think like there's so much about, like I said, like the image that he feels like is being reflected back at him. But I don't know if he's providing anything to counter that. So I think that's where it becomes like, I'm not actually sure what he's saying, how he feels about that situation, for example, or about the spitting on Chris Pine, just to like, you know, bring that back. Could have referenced it with a cheeky little lyric.
there should have been a song called "Spit on That Thing," you know, just like kind of like combining both of those worlds a little bit.
Yes, exactly.
Season Hawk to a weight loss.
But yeah, like I guess like because we're already talking about like, is there any like thematic like things on this album? Like, is there any like what do you think this album is about per se?
I mean, it's just like the self-awareness thing. I feel like there's an awareness. There's like that lyric, you keep forgetting your mantra, which thoughts you had on your own. Like I feel like the theme is like trying to figure yourself out and what you stand for and like how you exist in relation to all these other pop stars, for example. But I can't say it arrives at an answer. So I don't know if that counts as a theme. If the theme is just like searching for that.
Yeah, I feel like kind of not necessarily where he falls as a pop star, but like kind of a little bit of an exploration of genre, like, you know, because in pop specifically, he's talking a lot about like what pop is. And then I feel like you kind of see that throughout the album though sonically, because it's like he's doing whatever, you know, what you kind of mentioned like LCD Sound System. I think he's doing a little bit of David Byrne. It's like, what is his like obligation to the genre of pop? And then where does like his own musical journey fall inside of that? I feel like that was kind of the main theme I picked up on.
And respect your
Yeah.
mother.
And respect your mother, of course.
Yeah,
And tickle your tummy or whatever the lyric is. Like the big theme, big recurring motif in the album.
overall, like my takeaways, like from how this album like makes me feel with the theming is like it feels very like vacant and disengaged. Like I hear that struggle within him. of him having so much space and kind of like wondering what to do with it, and like, maybe on a larger level, what is pop's duty to society and culture? Like you guys have been saying, like he doesn't really provide any of these answers. It's a lot of like thinking out loud. And I think in like, didn't he say in some of his interviews that he was like trying to kind of bring about feelings of like a night out, or like your thoughts on the dance floor or something like that? Am I making that up?
I couldn't tell you, but like
I don't
that
know, but I
sounds
believe
yeah.
it. Sounds
That
right.
sounds right. So you should say it confidently, and I'll just
Okay,
nod and
yeah,
say,
yeah. You know
wow.
what? I'm gonna land on my own position, and a man is gonna stand 10 toes down. It's about this. It's about that.
Oh man. I think like he's searching for the answers, but also like keeping the answers for himself private. Like I think that's or he's just putting it out very subliminally. Like the first like five songs are him just like kind of like the lyrics are very like bricolage in that just like they're like just like images and just like little insights here and there to like kind of make a collage, and it doesn't like have a coherent like intentionally like kind of an opaque like portrait of himself, or just like portrait of what he's trying to explore, but not like directly nakedly say it. So I think there's that. And then like once he's able to do that, he's able to like let light in, let love in, like, and then like take that love, like after doing that work, he takes that love and then puts it out into the audience, and like we all have a nice time at the Manchester thing. I don't know. Okay, let's go
Probably.
through
I mean, I guess if he'd been running marathons, maybe there would be a marathon theme. But that happened after the songs were written, so we don't even get any of the good running stuff.
Yeah, when did he get together with Zoe Kravitz?
They've been together for like 2 years now, I think.
Okay, so she certainly would have come
But I
into
feel,
play in the
yeah, I
writing.
just really feel like this album is not about his relationship at all, like a real relationship. It feels like he's like talking in abstract about anything relationship-y. It doesn't feel super real to me. I don't know.
And I think that's like in contrast to like what we were saying about Taylor Swift and about all these people where like people like try to like decipher the lyrics of a Taylor song of like this is about this guy, this is about I think he's like intentionally just trying to obfuscate and just try to express himself in a way that's like without express himself without making it super obvious or clear.
Well, I mean, As It Was has like a very specific reference to Olivia Wilde, right? So like he's done it before. But I do think we probably expect different things from our male pop stars than our female pop stars. And I mean, Taylor, she drops some like very unsubtle hints in her songs where I feel like it's sort of begging you to analyze it. She's like, she could say that it's not about any one person or whatever, but it's always like quite obvious who's being sung about, including Harry.
Wow.
True.
Yeah, paper rings.
Style.
Wow. Yeah, let's go through some highlight songs though. Like Lewis, what's a highlight song? Like what do I call you? Lou Pizzle or whatever? Like
Louis
Louis
P.
Louis
Lou
P.
Pizzle.
Louis P.
Lou
Yeah.
Pizzle is something I also have to sit with. Okay, great.
What's a highlight song for you from this album?
Gosh, I really like season 2 Weight Loss. Also, like I really like the title. It makes me think of the Housewives glow up that happens after a housewife has been on the show for a season. I know it's basically about that concept, but not about housewives, but that's what I think of. That's my reference point. I just think it's like one of the more interesting sounding songs on the album. It's like a little bit thornier and more discordant than a lot of the other songs, which I enjoy. Not much happening lyrically to like that really jumped out at me when I was going over lyrics. But I think that's my common theme for the album is that I don't have a ton to say about the lyrics, and like I tend to be a lyrics focused person. So that was the challenge for me. But I don't know. I mean, the whole album has grown on me, and I do think like I really like Aperture, and then I think the first few songs are like less interesting, and then it sort of builds more and more. So but that's one standout for me.
Yeah, for me with season 2 Weight Loss, that was one that I like didn't really connect with at the beginning, but then when I watched the Netflix concert movie thing, that one I thought was really great live with like the whole choir behind him. I thought that was really effective, and then I felt like that was when I got into that song, and then I've since appreciated it a lot more.
Yeah, I think like this. Sorry, this is a very like I think like the most like fully realized version of this album is the Netflix special I watched. Like I think like when you listen to the actual album, there's like the choir isn't as mixed as like Grand or like and like the drum in the album feels a little more grating, but like when you're like watching the actual person like play the drums, so like some of the best drumming I've ever seen in my life, like it's like way more impressive there. And then you also like see Harry like just like charisma, like control of the crowd and everything, like which you don't really get here. But
Yeah, she's Sarah Jones is the drummer. She's the drummer from Hot Chip. She's so good.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I mean, I would also give it to season 2 weight loss. But like honestly, like this album is just so weird because I can say like a lot of good things about most of the songs here. Like I think when I'm actually sitting down and listening to the album, I enjoy it and then it kind of just goes away when I'm not listening to it. Like I'm lacking the object permanence to retain my joy that this gives that the album gives me. I really like I really like the final run of songs like Dance No More, Paint by Numbers, and Carla's song. Paint by Numbers, like that is the most British he has ever sounded. Like the
I
way
mean that I
that,
feel like that you do get like more you get more vocals in that. Like you get more you get to actually you hear him a little bit more in those last few songs, which is nice if you're someone who
yeah,
enjoys his voice.
yeah, and yeah, like he does have a good voice when he's like trying to emphasize that. And Paint by Numbers feels like a nice like come gather by the fire, everyone. Um, like I've got a merry tune in my pink leotard set and witch
Amer
hat. But yeah, I think that there's like there's a lot to like here on there. But I think that it sounds like we all agree that season 2 weight loss definitely seems like the most. I certainly think that season 2 weight loss fulfills the promise of Aperture the most, like from that being a single. And Aperture was a great single, I think. Like I think that's a great way to lead off the album. I wish that maybe it like pulled on some of the threads that it sent out with that a little more. Because I think that it's a nice little like hypnotic, hazy kind of daydream of a song.
apparently that was like the last song written.
I think they should use it
Yeah.
in a deodorant commercial. I really I just think Aperture would be good for a deodorant commercial. But I'm going on clean part. I just feel like it like sells itself, and I really have been pitching this for a while, but I don't. No
No,
one
you know
listens to
what?
me about deodorant commercials.
That's such a good point because literally like one of my notes from this album is 90% of it sounds like it was made for a 2000s iPod commercial.
So there you
Like
go.
like so many of these like you can't tell me that Ready Steady Go when that piano comes in at the end like you don't just like see like iPod 6 like silhouettes or whatever.
I'll just like say like Paint by Numbers like is where he's like, most in his Paul McCartney bag of just like kind of like the very like simple like profound lyrics of just like self-love and like oneness with the universe and such like yeah, I really like that song. Yeah, I agree that like the last I think for me Coming Up Roses to Paint by Numbers is a really it's what I want from the album. Like that's like all the songs. Like there's like like Coming Up Roses like highlights his incredible vocals. And then like Pop is a great like just like statement about pop music. Dance No More is like a very like Princey disco-y kind of song. And then Paint by Numbers is like I said that Paul McCartney kind of like beautiful like simplistic lyricism there. And then like I kind of like Carla's song goes one ear and out the other for me. But yeah.
There's one lyric in Carla's song that I think about a lot, which is the baby sleeping on a candy bar, because I thought of it very literally when I first heard it and didn't understand why a baby was sleeping on a candy bar. And now I sort of think it's not meant to be taken literally and is more about the concept of sleeping on something because you've never had a candy bar.
I like to think of it as literal.
It could be both. It could be both. Why not have a baby sleeping on a candy bar in a literal sense?
Yeah, Harper, what's a highlight for you?
I'm gonna say, Are You Listening Yet? That was like the first one other than Aperture that I really like super got into. I will say like I've been unemployed for 4 months, so I've been going through it. And I've been really attracted to music that feels like it's yelling at you. And I feel like Are You Listening Yet really just like checks that off for me. So that's why I like that song. I think it's fun. I like how persistent it is, like it does not let up on you. It's like Are You Listening Yet over and over and over again. And I just have a good time listening to that song. Yeah.
It's a good substitute for work emails.
Yes, exactly.
Tasteback is like very much in my head. I don't think it's like necessarily a standout on the album for me. It's just a song that I find catchy. So just throwing that out there.
Yeah, I do. He has this thing that he does throughout a lot of this album where he repeats a phrase in a song. And so in that one, the you just need a little love, you just need a little love, like that's definitely like an earworm for sure.
And then I wanted to ask about pop because I think it's interesting that it feels like it's the most sexual song here, question mark, because it's all sort of
Yeah, mix two flavors together. Like, okay, Harry.
and he talks about like squeaky clean fantasy. And I was trying to think like, because I feel like we are in an era where a lot of female pop stars are being more explicitly sexual. And I was trying to think, not knowing as much about male pop stars, and also we've acknowledged that there aren't really that many, if men are leaning into sex in the same way.
I
I
don't
don't
think
think
so.
so.
I feel like there was a time where like I'm thinking about like Climax by Usher was like 2012, I feel like that was like a kind of sexy time for men in pop, like Zayn, Pillow Talk, bringing it back to Zayn, but that was 2016. So I feel like it's been a while since we like Sexy Back, obviously going back to 2007, but I can't really think of like a sexy male pop song in a while.
They like I feel like you could do like a whole gender studies course on like the like sexuality portrayed by male pop stars and how that's evolved. I feel like Drake like ruined that for everybody. I feel like post Drake it's now like it's all just downstream from some toxic like manosphere bullshit, you know? Drake does the like small bean, I'm always down on my luck, like, I got hurt, but then he also does this like, I get more ass than a toilet seat, but I'm sad. Like just super annoying. Like I don't know, man,
Men can
derogatory.
only be sad about sex post Drake.
Like yes, like so many ways that men are in society, they just can't engage with like sexuality in like a healthy way. And I think what Harry does here on Pop is like more approximating like what the women are doing in the pop sphere, but it's still like I'm not going to say them in the same sentence other than what
It's
I
pretty,
just did.
it's pretty tame
Yeah.
overall, and it's a lot of like plausible deniability on double entendre, where you're like, sure, but like it could be about pop music or about popping a champagne cork or various other kinds of pop. And meanwhile, like Taylor Swift, who was once one of our like virginal pop stars, now has a song about her boyfriend's dick that we
Well, I
have to listen to.
I would actually say that like wood might actually be a pretty decent analogy to this because it's almost like it's like sex, silly, tee hee hee. It's like finding out what a boner is for the first time, and you're like that's kind of like a silly novelty. It's like putting sex on a popsicle stick joke, you know? But whereas like other like women pop stars, like sex can be like dangerous and exciting. Like sex sounds cool and fun. Hey, I would like to engage with that. Like like men just they're not doing it like them.
Well, I mean, I think there's definitely obviously a gender thing going on. I wonder also though with Harry Styles, like how much damage has been done with like years of speculation over his sexuality, over his potential secret relationship, over a relationship with Olivia Wilde that may or may not have caused a movie to collapse and make him then spit on Chris Pine. Just gonna keep referencing that as much as possible. But I do wonder if there's like added baggage there that makes him reticent to sing about sex, to sing about like the people he's actually dating now, beyond in the vaguest terms.
Yeah.
I will say, like, I think like there's something to be said, like going back to my like healthy pop star theme. I think there's something to be said about like just like the sexual undertones he's offering is pretty safe and like pretty. I think like there's benefit to that on that, like as opposed to like kind of like the more either like manosphere or like aggressive side of things. Like if I had a daughter and she like her favorite artist was like Harry Styles, I'd be like, okay, she's probably gonna be fine. Like she's probably gonna be fine. I think this is, you know what I mean? Like,
Well, check her fan fiction history. Like, what's she writing about in her free time?
like, yeah, like I don't know. Any other highlights of this album?
Yeah, I mean the whole thing. I kind of just enjoy the whole thing. I do feel like he kind of goes into like a kind of British alt mid 2000s vibe during Taste Back in the Waiting Game that like, does appeal to me. But yeah, it's all fun. I had a good time.
What was Robbie Williams, right? Robbie
Sure.
Williams had the monkey movie.
Yeah, Better Man,
Yes,
the greatest
Better Man.
movie of 2024.
Yeah. Like there's like parts of this album that I feel like he's really going to like the Robbie Williams school of pop here. Like I feel like this album is a little more British than he's been. Does anyone else is that out there? Anyone else picking that up?
I mean, he's like
Yeah.
referencing American Girls like some foreign exotic thing, you know? Like,
Right. And American Girls. What's everyone thinking? What's everyone thinking with American Girls?
I mean, I think that's maybe my least favorite song on the album. But certainly very catchy. I think
Yeah.
it's like I remember listening to the album for the first time and hearing Aperture, which I at that point really really liked, and then hearing American Girls and being like, oh, I'm less into this, and this is less interesting to me, and I'm not entirely sure what we're doing here. Um, and then the music video is him making like an action movie, which makes me again think of his acting career, which is not where I want to be mentally. Listening to this music,
It ties
So-
into Eternals. It's setting up Eternals.
it's
too.
setting up Eternals too, exactly. But maybe, I mean, I don't know. Like, I like the idea that this whole album is a little bit more British. Maybe he is commenting on the current administration and our fraying relationship with Europe, with American Girls, and his Britishness overall. This is his political album, is what I'm saying.
Ready, Steady Goes
Right.
about Brexit. Just
The disco ball is the commentary on the ballroom that Trump wants in the White House.
Wow.
Snaps,
It's-
snaps,
yeah.
snaps.
It's
Are
out
you
there.
listening yet? Just like
Ooh.
let's go through like any let's go through lowlights and then we can return to like stray observations or like highlights or anything like that. Any lowlights on this album?
Other than American Girls.
Yeah.
I will say, like, I do like Dance No More, but I think that there's something about him doing Ballroom that feels a little bit like fraudulent to me, where I'm like, it feels a little bit try hard, a little bit like I am embarrassed about winning Album of the Year over Renaissance, and so like I'm gonna have this Respect Your Mother song in there.
The Respect Your Mother line is tough.
That's
It's-
that's what kills it. Like, it's like that's the part that I'm thinking about, even though there's much more to the song than that. But I'm just like, I don't really need to see Harry in that mode. And I think it's interesting that like the album has disco in the title, disco occasionally, and like
Very
maybe
occasionally.
maybe this is like the occasional disco. But I'm like, I actually would rather you just do the LCD sound system, like pastiche or whatever it is. Like, not, I don't need this.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think Dance No More on the whole is like a pretty decent song. But the Respect Your Mother line is it's impossible to get over that. That's tough.
I don't know. I felt like it was like memorable. I remember it every time I listen to the song. You know, like some of this, like you were saying, some of it just like leaves your memory the second it stops. And like I think like there's at least some memeable what. I wouldn't go that far, but like there's at least
Do you
some,
want like is that the hallmark of a good song though? At least it's memeable.
I don't know. Like
Do you
at
want
least-
do you want TikToks with people using their "Respect Your Mother" audio over them? With,
yeah,
like,
it sounds
various
nice. Like,
divas.
My issue with the line is that like it takes the song from like a place where you're like, okay, Harry's kind of doing a thing, and he's like pulling it off good, which you know I think in the context of the rest of the album and what that sound is like, him going off on this tangent, it's surprising because he's not really doing the same thing like elsewhere on the album, and you're like, okay, that's cool, we're doing a thing here. And then that line is just him like winking to the camera, like being like, did you catch that? You know, it is just like, you're doing too much.
that's one of his things. He loves winking at the camera. Like that's one of the Harry Styles like trademarks. Just like
But
kind of
not-
being a little cheeky. Like
Yeah, but there's being cheeky and then there's like showing your whole ass, you know?
wow. Yeah, I think any look. I actually don't like the season 2 weight loss like title. I think it's like it distracts me from what the song's actually about.
Too
Like,
cheeky.
Yeah.
It's too cheeky for you.
Let's see.
I think that's like, to me, that's a compelling like title for a song, you know, because like season 2 weight loss, talking about like the transformation that people have like in stardom to try to conform to, you know, what they think a celebrity, like someone up on a pedestal should be. I buy that. I like if anybody has the right to speak on that, I think Harry is certainly like one of them. I wish he would have
Because
expanded
of
on
his
it more.
very his public weight loss when he was obviously very heavy at one point. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he went from like 18% body fat to 14%. You know, he's got abs.
The marathons.
Yeah. Harper, do you have any lowlights? Like,
You know, I know all of you said that this was one of your highlight songs, but Paint Boy Numbers, it does nothing for me. I just was not ready for him to be acoustic at that time in the album, you know. Every time it really jars me, and it does nothing for me. It's yeah.
what do you think of Coming Up Roses in that same like kind of vein though?
I like that one because I like that one. The strings in that one are really effective. So I think that musically was doing a little bit more. I think it's specifically the acoustic guitar that throws me off in Paint by Numbers. Yeah, I like Coming Up Roses. It's that one and that one too. Like I like what it's exploring in that one because it's like, you know, simultaneously falling deeper into a relationship, but then also like thinking more about, you know, like what wanting different things and why maybe even though you're feeling strong feelings for a person, you shouldn't be together and those kind of conflicting emotions. So I like what he's getting into there. Yeah, I think that's a good song.
The song apparently is about, you know, his relationship with Taylor Russell, and it's like the like the rift was like Taylor Russell likes to eat people and he doesn't. Yeah.
I love Taylor Russell, and I appreciate that reference, and I also think they should make
Thank
another
you.
escape room movie because those movies rule.
I saw the first one. I never saw the second one. I got to get into
Okay,
that.
okay, you gotta watch it. There's two versions. There's the regular version and there's like a director's cut. It has like it's like 30 minutes different, but it completely changes the beginning and ending of the movie, and like it's incredible.
Okay.
I'm a huge escape room fan and Tournament of Champions. Great movies.
So like it's funny because like the original lyric to this, like one of the song, like the chorus to the song is like, just for tonight, let's go hangover chasing and you'll bite my ear off about why it's safe. So like that's interesting. Bones and All is the movie she's in, and you know she eats people. Okay, so yeah, any stray observations? Any stray observations about this piece though?
I feel like I should just say like that. Yeah, in talking to you all, like I have made some criticisms, and I have heard them, and I still like quite like this album. But it's an album that like to me is more interesting, more fun to talk about than or to listen to than to talk about. Like there isn't necessarily that much to grab onto. Uh, but like as a whole, I still really enjoy listening to it. It's not as good to me as Harry's House, but like it's like a solid album.
My initial listen to this album, I wouldn't say that I like hated it, but my like number one takeaway was like I need to apologize to Benson Boone. I think we were a little too harsh on Benson Boone because Benson Boone is like, electrifying. He's doing the backflips and he's like putting effort in, and I came away from this being like, oh, this is like kind of sleepy and boring. So then, when we were, when we had this episode on the calendar, and I started listening to it again, I really started warming up to it. And like there was a particular day that was like tough. The sun was shining outside, so as soon as work was done, I closed my laptop. I had a little THC drink, and then I went on a walk, and put this album on, and I was bobbing my head. I was kind of like, this is a very good head empty album. I don't know. I don't want to think about anything. I just want to kind of bop my head to some catchy melodies, and I think this album does that. Like I wish that this album applied a little more pressure sometimes. Like it feels like it's keeping us all at like arm's length. Some of the production could be like punchier. I feel like it's all just kind of like flat. But when you fall into a groove with this album and you like allow it to just kind of be the airy presence that it is, like it is enjoyable. Like I'm a lot more positive on this album now than I was the day it came out.
Do you think he'll wait as long between albums for the next one?
I don't know. I mean, I guess it depends on what his like manifesto is for like what he learns from kissing all the time and discoing occasionally. Because
I mean, this sort of makes sense to me as like an album between albums.
Yes.
And so I feel like part of how I'll come to understand it will depend on what comes next. But it's like it was 4 years between albums last time. So, and I don't know if we're making it to 2030.
yeah, get it out the door. If you're in line, stay in line. I like, the title of the album, Kiss All the Time, Disco Occasionally. Like I don't need to hear the sordid details of him with Olivia Wilde. It sounds like a crazy relationship. We all had our fun watching that press rollout.
Miss Flo.
But Miss Flo, that Instagram of her walking with whatever that drink was.
That was my Halloween costume that year. Yeah, I went as Florence Pugh with an Aperol spritz.
Truly iconic stuff. But like, it maybe would have been nice to have a song that like attempted to capture the feeling of that whirlwind romance. Like something like that. So I don't really get kissing all the time. And the discoing occasionally, like, only literally applies to this album in that, like, it truly is a blink and you'll miss it. But yeah, whatever comes after this, I think will help give shape to whatever this era is.
But yeah, I think it in terms of like it being an album about taking care of yourself. Like just like that's one of the big morals of the album is like just like take care of yourself, like treat yourself well, and then like light will come into your life like an aperture. I think that's a cute little. I think that's really what that's there. Like that's really all this album's really saying. Like other than just like dancing and stuff, but I don't know. It like, but like it felt like. I'm at a club, like I'm at like a chill club, and like some guys like whispering like that I should do my DBT exercises or something. It's just like it was like very subliminal, like it was, like, yeah. So It's like I'm really scraping the bottom of the barrel for that what I just said, like I don't know. I don't even know if that's like what he wanted us to take or what I should take or anything like that. So
I'm now thinking about all of the song titles he could have done to reference the Don't Worry Darling press tour
let
and
me see.
festival. Like Spit Take would be a good one. There's
Uh,
really a lot of options there.
American Girls parenthetical Olivia, like that could be one. Like
Uh-huh.
like
Ted
uh
Lasso season 3 quality loss. Can we talk about how much Ted Lasso season 3 sucks?
No, we can't talk about that anymore. Season 4 is gonna happen, and it's gonna be really good, and we're gonna
Oh,
not have to think
it's
about
gonna
it.
bounce back. No,
I'm
for
sure it's gonna be
sure.
really good. I'm sure it's not gonna look like they're there at gunpoint. It's gonna be a
Yeah.
really quality season of television.
And Jamie and Roy are finally gonna get together, and it's gonna be really good.
yeah, I
I
guess
feel like I mean if there like I do think that like I don't know exactly what happened on that set, but it did seem like it was maybe a boring story of like breaking COVID protocols and like do like the kind of drama that actually happened maybe wouldn't have made for the most compelling like references in songs.
For
What
Don't Worry, Darling.
yeah, because like isn't that what there was something about COVID
I think
protocols and
so.
like and I think overall favoritism to dating the star of your movie, and also the movie was terrible, so maybe that was a cause of drama. I do defend his accent. It's like it's meant to be off in the movie, and I feel like people didn't get that because they didn't
Yeah.
understand the plot that he has a fake accent on purpose. He's a great actor.
man.
I wouldn't go that far, but
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
he's not maybe not as bad as we
It's
make
also
it out to be.
it's also like if you're acting against Florence Pugh and you're a first time actor, you're gonna like she's gonna like run laps around you, like no matter what. Like I feel.
I don't know why
Was
we assume that all pop stars can act. Like I guess we don't do that as much anymore, but there is like a weird assumption that I think if you're a stage performer that you automatically have what it takes to act on screen, and like that sometimes is the case, and sometimes I think I watch pop stars on screen and I'm like you don't have the range for this particular role. It just doesn't work. And I'm not referring to anyone in particular. I certainly names are popping into my head, but it's just as a general take.
Not everyone can be Fergie in 9, you know?
Not everyone can be Italian. You got to have the right pop star. Not everyone can be Madonna in Body of Evidence. It takes someone special.
Hmm. Yeah, let's go through final thoughts and ratings. The way this works is we'll rate this album out of 10 with a fun metric at the end. Who would like to go first?
I'll go. I always enjoy Harry. I thought this was a fun album. Not as strong as Harry's House though. Yeah, and final thoughts. One just in my house, Jonathan, my boyfriend, he mishears the lyrics to Aperture every time we listen to it, which is very funny to me. Every time he says it's best you know, he thinks it's spasibo, like in Russian, like thank you. So that's I'm gonna give it 7.5 out of 10 spasibos.
oh,
I'll give it like I'll like my review of it is uh great sweaters, beautiful, gorgeous sweaters. So it's just like it's kind of it's fine. I think like I like when I was like really scratching the surface to say anything of note or interesting about this. And then like obviously I had a great time talking to you, Lou Pizzle. But like other than like but other than that, like I just like this I'm like as soon as I like close my laptop, I'm gonna forget this album, like for the most part. And but if I'm listening to it or if I'm like just like if it comes up at like the sushi restaurant, I'm like listening to this in the background at a sushi restaurant, I'll enjoy it.
no, that's
Um
the previous album you're thinking of.
yeah, exactly. If this comes up in Zumba class, I'll enjoy it. But like other than that, I'm just like um yeah, so I'll give it like 5 tickled tummies out of 10.
As I said, I like this album a lot. I feel like I found things to say about it, but it was a bit of a struggle because it doesn't have a ton of depth to it, which is okay sometimes. But I really like it. I'm gonna keep listening to it while I do data entry style work that I need some like propulsive beats in the background to keep my eyes open. Yeah, I'm gonna give this 7 out of 10 loogies spat at Chris Pine.
Gonna once again piggyback on a lot of you guys. Like I think this album is like pretty enjoyable while you're listening to it, and I think it's like maybe a little more than like background music or CVS core, like ever so slightly. I just wish that Harry chose a lane and really committed to it and stepped into his power, you know? Like I love that he's an everyday guy and he has feelings and emotions, you know. Not to get all political, but this is not to get all political, but this album to me is like you know, me and Andrew, we're in Chicago. This is the Mayor Brandon Johnson of albums, you know, where it's like, dog, I'm really glad that you're talking about your mental health and everything, but you're also the mayor of a major city like in this country, you know? Like, so I need you to get it together and I need you to give me something, you know? So yeah, TBD on Harry Styles and the future of him in his career. Can't wait to figure out what the shape of this is. I'm going to give this 6 Jason Sudeikis laying down in front of Olivia Wilde's cars out of 10.
Yeah, like so that was our episode. We had some laughs and Louis, thank you so much for guesting on our show. I'm going through the backlog of Chasing Amy Adams. It's a lot of fun. What do you like to plug though? What's out there for you?
Yeah, I mean, basically that podcast, Chasing Amy Adams. We are gonna rebrand soon because we have a season 2 coming, and Amy Adams has been caught. So we had to move on to someone else to chase. So that's coming soon. But yeah, check. I'm at Louis Peitzman everywhere, and I post about my podcast and things I write for Vulture. Anyone else who will have me. So that's really my only plug.
Oh yeah. Check out your episode of Bunheads on the Bunhead Bros or whatever it's called. Like,
Don't listen to a podcast I was on like over a decade ago because I don't know what I said, and you know that's bad. I will. Demi has been on Chasing Amy Adams. We'll have Kevin on soon.
Oh, wow.
So he's talking about Dear Evan Hansen.
Oh my God, I can't wait.
So yes, you can listen in for that if you are a Gilmore Guys fan.
Fantastic. Yeah, you can follow me at Andrew Ambrose Lee, Dakota _with_fun, Harper at Harping About, Stenley at Snap a Sten, John at Jon Butts is here, Steph at Steph M Senior. Follow the show at IBMT LTT, and check out our Patreon show. I've been meaning to watch that. We're gonna talk about Les Mis, so it's a lot of fun. And Louis, any final sentiments before we conclude?
Oh gosh, final sentiments. Let straight men be a little fruity.
Wow.
That's my final thought.
Wow. Adjourned. Thanks so much, everybody. Have a good day. Click.
Adjourned?
No.
Adjourned.
Sweet.